All right. Hello. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wine.com Experiences. I'm Gwendolyn Osborne, and we are coming to you live in person at the James Suckling Great Wines of Italy event, tasting event here in New York. Again, this is very exciting. We're live. We're here. We're kind of taking it all in. We're going to speak to some of the top producers and winemakers of Italy a little bit later. But first, we want to speak to the one and only man behind this wonderful event, critically acclaimed wine critic, James Suckling. James.
Hi, how are you?
Wonderful.
Great to be here.
Yes, so incredible event, of course. But tell us a little bit about what is Great Wines of Italy? Who comes to pour? Who comes to taste?
Okay, well, look, I haven't been here in a couple of years, and I'm so happy to be back in New York. I mean, New York is really the wine capital of the world, and also it's the most important city in the world for exported wines from Italy. So today we have 2,000, well, over the next 2 days, 2,100 people coming, and about half are trade and half are consumers. So it's really, in the end, just people that love drinking great Italian wines. And that's what we have, 150 producers. They're serving 2 wines each. We have some really awesome music from a DJ friend of mine called Gabe. And so it's really just a chance to celebrate, enjoy, and learn about great Italian wines.
Yeah, and Italy is kind of one of your places in your heart, I know. And you were telling me, how many Italian wines, have you tasted this year? Because I just remember.
I just got back from Tuscany, and I have a house there near Arezzo. I have an office there. And this year we already tasted 6,000 wines from Italy. There's so many awesome wines this year. Everything from Tuscany to Piemonte, great wines from Friuli. Also, I think Sicily is really hot right now. If you haven't had the chance to drink wines from Etna, the volcano, it is crazy stuff.
Yeah, we're going to be talking to a producer. Etna Biancas are some of my heartbeat wines. Yes, I love them very much. So anything that's standing out for you tonight? Again, it has been 2 years.
Well, it's just standing out how it's just great to be in New York. There's such a good vibe in the city. I really miss that. That New York's such a special place, and it's just great to be back here and feeling the whole thing going on. Restaurants are full, the streets alive. I'm down in Meatpacking. It's a little bit more chilled than Midtown, but it's just great. And here in the room right this minute, everyone's just loving Italian wine and just rejoicing in it, trying stuff, talking to producers. It's almost like being in Italy. You taste the wine and you're asking the producer questions about how they make it, how they picked it, everything. What should it taste like? And that's what I think that wine, sure, I'm a wine critic. You use ratings, that's great. But also it's experiential. You have to taste wine, really get a handle on what it tastes like and what you like.
Yeah, and always enjoying the story behind it, which Italy definitely has so many stories.
Italy has such great history, such beauty, and the really most exciting thing and most wonderful thing is how warm Italians are. And I almost forgot that I hadn't been in Italy in 3 years because of the pandemic. But, I went in May and I was there until last week. And it was just so great to see Italians and feel the warmth and taste the warmth in their wines.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for doing this. I've had some amazing wines so far. I know people are eager to talk to you and be around you and just really love this little event.
No, thank you very much. I hope all of you can come next year. We'll also do one in Miami. But it really, all I can say is to enjoy wine, get out there, talk to winemakers, visit vineyards, and just hang with them and taste.
Yeah. Taste. Thank
Thanks
you,
again.
James. Okay, have fun. So in this past year, Wine.com has had an amazing partnership with the Italian Trade Agency. And so we're going to talk to the director of that agency and a little bit about what they do and how they help to promote Italian wine. So we have with us Antonio Laspina. Hello. Wonderful. Yes, good to have you here. So we've loved working with the Italian Trade Agency. But for those who might not know what you do, tell us a little bit about the mission behind the idea.
Yes, with great pleasure. The Italian Trade Agency is a government agency, and I stress the fact that it's a government agency. This means that we operate under the guidance of the Italian government, with money and funds provided by the Italian government. And this allows us to elaborate a strategy of promotion with the partners, with organizers of events, such as this one, for instance. But basically, what we do is promoting the Italian expression of the business, which means that we do not promote only food and wine, but we promote high tech, we promote any kind of technology, we promote fashion. Every time that there is a, let's say, an official pavilion in every single fair all around the world, this pavilion is organized by the Italian Trade Commission, or by myself or by my colleagues. So we have offices all around the world. I would like to focus on the fact that we have been very much instrumental in the promotion of the Italian wines all around the world, and particularly in the United States. Basically, for about 40 years, every single important event that has been organized in the promotion of wine has been with organizations by the Italian Trade Agency in collaboration with Italian Consortia of Wine associations like Federvini, Leonvini, any kind of institution that is involved in the promotion of wine, and even, of course, the very important private players that, after all, they are really the great actors, the promoters of Italian wine.
And Italy makes some wonderful, wonderful things. I have to think that the food and wine part might be the most fun. I would think it'd be the most fun for me. But we're grateful that you're doing that. We really appreciate your partnership with
Wine.com. Wine, fashion, design.
Oh, that's fashion, yes.
It's all things combined, they describe a kind of Italian lifestyle. Yeah. Because after all, we are not promoting a product. Like in the case of wine, it's not the promotion of a single product. What we are promoting is a kind of a lifestyle, is the combination of food and wine that gives a very great example of what is the characteristics of the Italian lifestyle. It's a way of enjoying life, very much peculiar. I would say that many other countries now, they have reached what has been reached by Italy maybe 200 years ago. Everybody now is producing wine all around the world. But what makes, I think, Italy a peculiar case is the fact that there is a long history, there is tradition, there is innovation, and at the same time, it's a combination of lifestyle. The Italians are not drinking wine just because it's trendy, but because it's part of their lifestyle.
Yes, it's part of that meal, it's part of the dinner, it's part of their everyday. So, well, we appreciate, again, all you've done with us at Wine.com for the Italian wine side, but as a lover of Italian culture myself, it's wonderful to have that being brought to the U.S. and promoted as well. So, thank you so much. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you. So we are going to now speak with several wine producers who are here tonight, and we're going to be starting, as James mentioned earlier, one of his favorites, one of mine, down in Sicily. So I'd like to welcome Angelo de Gracia. From Brunello in Sicily. And here you have your Etna Bianco.
Yeah.
I already have my pour. But as we were speaking, and James even mentioned that if you haven't been drinking Sicilian wines, you need to start. And a wonderful place to start that would be in the Etna region. Can you tell us a little bit about Etna, Mount Etna, and what makes that so magical and why your family is there?
So you have to imagine Etna is like an island inside an island, a volcano. So all the soil is volcanic soil. So all the grasses that we have on Etna are magical. So Hericante, Catarato for the white grapes, Nero Mascalese and Nero Cappuccio for the red grapes are incredible and give us incredible wines. So it's not easy to make wines from Etna, but you need to come to see how the wines are, so it's incredible places.
Yes, so as you mentioned, Mount Etna, it's a volcano, and so the grapes are being grown on these beautiful volcanic soils, which I think gives so much character. The white wine, as you said, is the Caricante grape.
Yeah, this is 97% Caricante, and 3% of Catarato.
Okay.
Cimentan for the fermentation, and 6 months, more or less, for the élevage. in the big bottle of 5,000 liters, and 1 year in the bottle before to taste it.
Okay.
So it needs time to be perfect, but more and more it will be more good.
Yeah.
So now it's
Well,
perfect.
and what are some of the characteristics, kind of the flavors and profiles somebody should look at when tasting, should expect when tasting?
So
the
normally the
Bianco?
Caricante give you an acidity in the mouth, so acidity like citric acid, lime. In the nose you have a lot of this kind of flower, mountain flower, herbs. So it's beautiful, it's light, it's not really alcoholic, you don't feel the alcohol.
I love the aromas
It's
because
fresh,
they're
you know?
beautiful.
So
Yeah.
this is the characteristic of the volcanic soil, 700 meters. So also the altitudes give you this kind of characteristic and the skills of this.
Yeah, I love the Enna Bianco because I feel like you
I
have
love
the texture
Yeah,
with
the
the
texture.
acidity is just a beautiful, beautiful balance.
You know, we are in the north side, so it's more cold than the other side of Etna. And this characteristic give you this kind of white. It's like a mountain white that you can feel in the north of Italy, but we are in Sicily.
Yeah.
So this is the characteristic of Etna.
Yeah, it's a beautiful wine. There's also Etna Rosso, so I encourage people to try that as well as the white wine.
Comes to Sicily.
Come to Sicily. I mean, if this is not making you want to visit Italy, you should. They're open for visitors, and it's a beautiful place.
You are all welcome.
Yes, Sicily is on my list. So,
Yeah.
grazie, Angelo. It's a pleasure. Yes, you're that. Okay. Thank you. See you. Okay. Bye bye. So our next producer that we have is Bibi Glass from Tuscany. So I'm going to grab my red wine glass for that. Bibi, welcome. Oh, you brought two? Yes, my kind of guest. So we're here in Tuscany. In Italian time frame, you're fairly young, being about 21 years. So tell us, when you came to make wine in Tuscany, what your vision was in making wine, what style, what were you looking to?
Well, I was first of all, I was wanting to represent like the purity of Sangiovese. So try to work on the transparency of the wines and to we have wines that are coming from other vineyards or from the top of the head. So really looking for the freshness and for the transparency. And this is what we really like to look in the wines. This is one of my drives, and the other drive that is really with Colore, which is the search and the love for really old wines.
Okay.
So these vineyards here are up to 135 years old. So really, really unique plots of vineyards, and we surf around Tuscany looking for all these old vineyards. And so we have, I mean, this the drive is the purity, and you see it in the glass. So
It's all Sangiovese?
All Sangiovese.
All Sangiovese, 100%. Okay.
100% Sangiovese. So you see,
The Colore that we're tasting?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's all about freshness, purity, finesse, and really long wines.
Yeah, and I think the floral, the fresh floral and bright kind of red fruit coming through is beautiful.
Yeah, it's like balance. I really want to, without no kind of concentrations, really express the vineyard the way it comes. Well, really, very little, just express the vineyard.
Express the vineyards. So when someone is tasting this, you're seeing the freshness, the old vines. What does the old vines give to the character here?
Well, it's the young wines. They give the youth, the power, the energy. It's really like Testamata. You have younger wines and really the youth.
Yeah.
And the old wines, somehow, when you have this these barrels with the old wines, so special. You have this incredible finesse.
Yeah. The elegance. It's very, very elegant.
So it's like they have something that is unique.
And tell us about the testamata. And tell us what that means, because I understand it means crazy head Italian.
Yeah, it's crazy hat.
Crazy hat.
Crazy Head.
Heads.
Crazy
Okay.
Head,
Yeah. Okay.
And it's, I was looking for a really long time to find the right name for my wines. It took me 2 years to find the wine. The wine was already done. The wine was in the barrel. The wine was already sold, and I couldn't find the name for my wine. And suddenly, Testamata came, and it was the perfect wine for me. Perfect name. Testamata, this crazy head, it's stubborn. It's special. All our wines are vineyard. We treat our vineyard in a very special way, and we try to do special things.
Okay.
And my family is a family of artists. Testamata fits really well.
I was going to say, do people call you Testamata also?
Well, it's,
In a very good way.
in a
of
very
course.
good way,
Yes,
yes.
very good way. May I taste your Testamata?
Yes, sure.
You have to be stubborn to be a wonderful winemaker, yes?
Yeah.
There's that youthfulness there that's coming through. That's really
It's all about, especially 2020, Testamata. I've been working for many years, and I had a challenge. I wanted to make a wine that was based on northern side slopes. So you have in the northern side slope, you have less color, less structure, as you have all this incredible acidity. And it sometimes I tried for like 3-4 years to make a wine based on northern slopes, but it was always getting too much. In 2020, it was a quite hot year, so the balance with the northern slopes and the heat, and it really managed to really pass the first time.
There you go. So this is one wonderful, delicious thing coming out of 2020 right here.
Yeah,
It's the wine, right?
For me, it's an ultimate expression, because I've been working really for 5 years to get this wine here. So
Okay, well, it's beautiful. I love both of these wines. It's your 21st vintage. So congratulations. In the U.S., we would say you were legal. But thank you so much. Yes. Well, thank you for being here, for sharing, and telling your story. Okay, so we are going to stay in the Tuscany region. I'm going over to Brunello di Montalcino, and we have Alessandra Angelini from Alticino here. All right.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us here. You've got the Alticino, and your other part, you were also with Caparzo, right?
Yes.
Alticino. So same family.
Same family, 2 estates in Montalcino. Yes.
Montalcino. So tell us a little bit about your Brunello here.
Yeah. So we're a winery that's located on the north side of Montalcino, but one of our biggest peculiarities is the fact that we own different vineyards on different sides of Montalcino. If you know the Montalcino territory, it's really, really different. Everywhere you go, every small piece of land, every vineyard has its own expression, its own terroir, its own microclimate. It's very fragmented, and for us, it's really important to show the entire territory in one wine, and that's what we do with Alticino. And we also make a single vineyard wine, which only represents one terroir and takes out the best that you can find. Yes.
So one is saying they're representing all of Montalcino,
Yes,
the other
exactly.
you're that single vineyard, which is beautiful. And, so this is Brunello di Montalcino.
Yes.
So it's Brunello, which is a
Sangiovese, 100%, obviously. For us, it's a religion.
Okay, right. But sometimes people don't know that, because not to do offense, but it can be very confusing when it comes to grapes and regions, and which goes where.
Especially in Italy, we have so many indigenous grapes. But Sangiovese for us in Tuscany, it's a bit. Yeah.
So let us take, which one would you like to taste?
We taste the Alticino 17.
Okay.
So here we're tasting a very warm vintage, like 17. It was a very dry, warm vintage, but still having a lot of vineyards on the north side of Montalcino, we're able still to come out with the big perfumes. Not only the red fruits, but also other intense perfumes that come out and keep a very elegant wine. It's not as powerful as you would expect from a very warm vintage. You have obviously the red fruits that are the typical characteristics of the Sangiovese grape, but still you still have the Gracia, you still have other flavors in the back of it that gives the complexity to this wine. It's definitely a wine that you would like to enjoy with food.
Yes, and just savor too, the complexity of it.
Yes.
There's so many things coming out of my glass and my nose. You just
Exactly. You have a lot of layers coming out. So,
cerebral wine, we call it. You know,
Yeah.
the wine that really makes you
but
focus.
still, what's
So enjoyable. You keep wanting to sip it, right?
Yeah, exactly. And what we really want to come out that comes out from this wine is the elegancy of a wine. You can say sometimes they say the bolder wines are more masculine wines, the elegant wines are more feminine wines. It's not a case that we're two women in the family making the wine, so yeah. So definitely we want the elegant side to come out.
Yes. It is very elegant, but it's still very smooth at the same time. So one of those wines.
Exactly. And for being a vintage year like 17, keeping the smoothness and the elegancy in the wine was a big, was really a big hassle and for us a challenge, but we're very happy with the result.
It's very pretty. And the Carpazzo here,
Yes.
your other label.
So also here we get blend of different vineyards. We go south side, north side of Montalcino. We go from different soil types, from clay to Galestro soil, which is a very renowned soil type and the best soil type to grow Sangiovese grape. And even here you have different expressions into one wine. Even all that 17 has meant to Montalcino in one wine, and still it's a very easy drinkable wine, approachable wine to be a 17. It's a very approachable and enjoyable wine.
Yes, this is one of our most popular wines on Wine.com for Brunello, because as you say, it is approachable. When you're tasting the Altafino, there's a lot of complexity to it, and this is still also layered and wonderful and gives all that, but there is something
And
about
this
the
is great with any type of food. Yeah, I mean, while other more structured wines, you would want more complex type of food. With this one, you can go.
And for those, if you're not as familiar with Brunello di Montalcino, this is a wonderful introductory wine to introduce yourself, I think.
Yes, I think, to come, it's easy to understand the Sangiovese grape going through a wine like this, that it's not too complex, it's not too big on you, it's not too overwhelming. This is a very smooth, easy drinking wine.
And super food friendly, as Italian wines tend to be. So, well, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and it was lovely to be here with you.
And thank you for making wonderful wines. Okay, so for our last wine and chat, we are going to move up into the Piemonte region with Marchesi di Barolo and with Valentina Abona. Say your last name right. Happy to see you. Yes, very good to see you too. So here we are in Piemonte. The king of wines comes from here, the Nebbiolo grape here. But first, tell us a little bit about your property, because Marchesi di Barolo is fairly historic in the region, and tell us kind of how your family became part of that.
Well, we're talking about the kings of wine, so nobility in the region, nobility also in the origin of our family's winery, because Marquis is actually a noble title. So the original owners of Marchesi di Barolo were the marquises of the region of Barolo, who for the first time really believed in what the region could offer in terms of wine. So in the 1800s, the Marquis Juliette Robert realized how to make beautiful wine out of her grapes, Nebbiolo grapes in Barolo. So she had built a cellar right in the center of the village, where she transformed the grape juice into fine, noble wine, which she named after the village itself. Barolo became known as the king of wine because of its flower, its elegance, its amazing finesse. And wine with kings, because even the king at the royal court then enjoyed it sometime later. So in 1929, my family bought the estate, which was left to a trade organization that managed the business after the Marquis's death. And so our family got it. And so far, we are continuing this great tradition with the same passion and love that Marquis Juliette had.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful property, absolutely stunning. If you ever have the chance to visit it, out up there in Barolo and Piemonte, and you make sorry, Barbera. I've got Brunello, Barbera,
All these.
all these. You've got the Barbera, the Dolce. You make a number of wonderful wines, but we're looking at the Barolo here that you have, and what vintage are we tasting?
This is 2016 Barolo del Comune di Barolo. So it's actually a very special Barolo. It's the representation, the quintessence of what Barolo is in terms of wine, but also in terms of location. So it's a municipality appellation. We are looking at just a single village of the town of Barolo in all its diversity. Despite the fact that it's a little town, there are only 600 people living in Barolo, it's very rich in terms of diversity of soil type, altitudes, microclimates. This wine is born by blending 11 different vineyards from this very little village. Every vineyard is managed and treated and vinified individually, and then just later we blend them into unique expression of what our village can offer us. So I like to call this our family signature wine because it's very representative of the place where we come from, the town of Barolo, but also the tradition and the history that this appellation has. As a matter of fact, when Marquis Juliette started making her Barolo, it was always a blend of the grapes growing in her different estates. So it's a tribute to the history of the Marquises.
Yeah, and it's a blend, but not of grapes, which sometimes Americans think of as a blend of grapes. It's a blend of those vineyards, which,
just
like
a blend of vineyards, 100% Nebbiolo,
yep.
and only from the little village of Barolo. So it's within the old Barolo Grete area, which is around 5,000 acres, only the little village of Barolo. But again, all of its diversity.
Well, I'm going to pour some, and while I do, maybe tell us a little bit about what we should expect, and then kind of as we taste and sip. And
Nebbiolo is known for, as we said, the grape finesse. It's a grape that shows very nice florals at the beginning, and then it goes into fruit and spices. It's so long in its expression, very dry on the palate because, of course, of the tannins, and grippy, but then acidity was so watery in your mouth in such a beautiful way, which I'm sipping after because otherwise I will be watering so much that I can't speak.
it is true, the acidity here. I know, my mouth is watering too. The acidity and tannin, and the balance, and the floral, and the fruit, and it just keeps going. Also, this is just so well balanced.
And here is where you really understand how food friendly
Mhm.
Barolo is,
Yeah.
because now our mouth is begging for it.
Yes. I mean, most Italian wines are, but especially to me, Barolo and Nebbiolo. So,
And in 2016 vintage, this is all enhanced. It was a very classic year. It keeps on going and going and going.
and Barolo is also known for aging very well. So here we are at 6 years, but you would be able to drink this
Forever.
forever
We
and
have
ever.
a private collection of all vintages that dates back all the way to the 1800s. I can personally say that at least until the 30s, wines are drinkable. And here we have all the best estates from the village: Cannubi, Sarmassa, Queste di Rose, Ravera, Caiagallo. So just these are all names of the single vineyards. So the richness in this wine is just incredible, and therefore also the longevity that it has because of the richness of the single of what each single vineyard can give is really incredible.
It is incredible. Well, thank you so much. I know you have so many wonderful wines to share. Again, a beautiful place to visit. Actually, all of Italy. I especially loved Piedmont during truffle season. Highly recommend that. But just the country, as we mentioned, the culture, the welcoming of the people of Italy, and the foods and the wines, and just everything that it offers is so beautiful. So
Just explore it. Every
Explore
region
it.
is unique in its own, and it's worth to be known.
yes, just pick a different region every year, every summer. You know.
Cheers.
Thank you so much, Mel.
Grazie mille.
So thank you so much to everyone who joined us, just watching. Again, we are here to promote the wines of Italy and live here, obviously, at the James Suckling Great Wines of Italy tasting. If you would like to look at some of the wines that are being poured tonight and explore them, Wine.com has a special list for you. It's www.wine.com/JSItaly. So just JS Italy for James Suckling Italy. You can find all the wines that we're featuring here tonight and give them a try. I highly recommend all of them that I've tasted. So cheers, and thank you to everyone. Ciao.